I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
This seems
Nobody
like a scene
listened.
in a movie
Nobody
where
listened.
the robots are going to fucking take over and you're freaking me out. Nobody listened.
Nobody listened.
No one.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Information. My name is Tabang. Today we'll be talking about what has taken over the internet of late.
Now, you may have heard of ChatGPT. It's a popular online chatbot which is powered by artificial intelligence. And you can ask it to write essays for you, write computer code, even give you creative ideas. Well, it was developed by the American company OpenAI, and ChatGPT is trained on the internet so it can understand and generate human-like text. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's prompting concerns in some academic circles that students could use it to plagiarize their essays. In fact, ChatGPT has already obtained good pass grades in a medical licensing exam and also a master in business administration paper.
Then, at the end of last year, came ChatGPT from a company called OpenAI. It is a program that can take a prompt and generate human-sounding writing in just about any format and style.
It would be easy to think that artificial intelligence is a new thing if you had to see what ChatGPT is able to do. But it's not really a new thing. In 2016, Google developed DeepMind AlphaGo, an AI that taught itself how to play Go, a game in China that has been deemed one of the most difficult games in the world. And it taught itself how to play the game and finally beat Lee Sedol, one of the best Go players in the world.
Go is the world's oldest continuously played board game. It is one of the simplest and also most abstract.
Beating a professional player at Go is a long-standing challenge of artificial intelligence.
Everything we've ever tried in AI just falls over when you try the game of Go.
The number of possible configurations of the board is more than the number of atoms in the universe.
AlphaGo found a way to learn how to play Go.
So far, AlphaGo has beaten every challenge we've given it.
But we won't know its true strength until we play somebody who is at the top of the world, like Lee Sedol.
A match like no other is about to get underway in South Korea.
Lee Sedol is to Go what Roger Federer is to tennis.
Just the very thought of a machine playing a human is inherently intriguing.
The place is a madhouse.
Welcome to the DeepMind Challenge.
The whole world is watching.
Can Lee Sedol find AlphaGo's weakness?
Ooh.
Whoa. Is there, in fact, a weakness?
The game kind of turned on its axis.
Well, look at his face.
That is not a confident face.
It's developing into a very, very dangerous fight.
Ooh, hold the phone. Lee has left the room.
In the end, it is about pride.
I think something went wrong.
Yeah, it's made a mistake.
He's got to pronounce a miracle.
These ideas that are driving AlphaGo are going to drive our future.
This is it, folks.
Now, that was one of the best documentaries and the worst documentaries I've ever watched in my life. For me, that was a realization that maybe the way we process information is not really that special. The way we put together our learnings, the way we learn things is not really that special. There's always been a sense of comfort in humans that, and especially with the things that we have invented in the past, that we are better than them. You are better than a car. You know, a car doesn't move until you tell it to move, or you make it move. Now, with generative AI that has recently just taken the internet by storm, we can no longer relax. We can no longer just sit back and say, it's okay, whatever the technology is, maybe it's just a fad and it's nothing really important. I think there's a war, there's an AI war coming, and there are many companies that are gunning for this. To me, Lee Sedol losing to DeepMind's AlphaGo was only the beginning of something much bigger. The ability for machines to learn by themselves without any human input and ultimately beat us at things that we thought machines couldn't do.
In the world of artificial intelligence, there's been one name that's been on everyone's lips lately: ChatGPT.
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 OpenAI, the San Francisco-based startup that created ChatGPT, opened the tool up for public testing in November 2022. In under a week, the AI model amassed over 1 million users, according to OpenAI's CEO. By the end of January, ChatGPT was averaging about 13 million visitors per day. Users have put the text-based AI chatbot through its paces, with prompts ranging from the silly to the practical and even the creative.
The future's unfolding, it's hard to ignore. Automation's coming, it's knocking on the door.
The tool has become so popular that it's not unusual for users to be met with a message saying that ChatGPT is at capacity.
Now, when I tell you that this tool is amazing, I'm not exaggerating. Let me show you. And boom, like magic, we are in ChatGPT. This is not an app, so please do not go download any apps. That's other people's apps that have been built on top of the language model. We'll talk about that later. Fairly simple user interface. It tells you what the examples could be, what it's capable of doing, and what the limitations are. We'll talk about the limitations a bit later because it's fairly dramatic. Now, let's say you wanted to start a business. You would ask it something like, give me 5 ideas for a business I can start in a rural village. Then you say enter, and it will start generating the content. Organic farming, ecotourism, handicrafts, rural transportation, renewable energy. So let's say then you found one of them interesting to you. You can say, write a business plan, guideline, outline for number 5. And because it knows the context of what it just wrote, it will give you exactly the exact information that you need based on the prompt that you put first. I'll stop it here, but if you want to try it for yourself, it's in the link below. It totally blows my mind every time I see what ChatGPT is capable of doing.
Too good. Too good. Too good. Son, first class, A1. Fantastic. Fantastic. Mind blasting. Mind blasting. You mean mind blowing? No. Anything can blow your mind. This blasted my mind.
It's exciting and scary at the same time to think that there's a machine that can teach itself and perform better than humans.
It's an ethical minefield. There are going to be societal consequences on the path to AGI. Potential benefits are huge as well, but we do need to tread very carefully.
What are some of the challenges of using a pre-trained model like ChatGPT?
So one of the big ones is that they have a tendency to confidently bullshit or hallucinate stuff. I think Nat Friedman described it as alternating between spooky and kooky. Sometimes it's so good that you cannot believe the large language model was able to do that, and then just occasionally it's horrendously wrong. And that's just to do with how the model is originally trained. They're trained to do next word prediction, and so they don't necessarily know that they shouldn't be dishonest.
Yeah, sometimes they get it wrong.
Sometimes they get it wrong, but the danger is that they confidently get it wrong. So, and very persuasively, very authoritatively, they get it wrong. And so people might, mistakenly trust these models.
So, the story of how we got here is a perfect example of cause and effect, sprinkled with a little bit of panic. When Google's DeepMind beat Lee Sedol at Go in 2016, it had a lot of people concerned. One of those people was Elon Musk.
It feels like we are the biological bootloader for AI, effectively. We are building it. And then we're building progressively greater intelligence. And the percentage of intelligence that is not human is increasing. And eventually, we will represent a very small percentage of intelligence. The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably the best. Like
for us.
Yes. Like if you can't beat it, join it.
Now, after he saw the kind of power that Google had and the power that AI had in the hands of a private company, he, Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, and a couple of other investors got together to form an NPO called OpenAI. And this nonprofit was really set up to be a counterweight to the power that Google had and make sure that AI didn't all fall into private hands. Which leads me to what I think is the reason why Elon left in 2019.
Thing with AI is going to completely change what people can expect from search. We're grounded in the fact that, Google dominates this space. I feel like a new race is starting with a complete new platform technology. I'm excited for the users to have choice finally and a real competitive race out there.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella finally thinks he has what it takes to make Bing happen and grab some search engine market share from Google. His not-so-secret weapon?
This all started with us and OpenAI coming together with really a research agenda on moving the state-of-the-art of AI forward.
Microsoft is taking OpenAI's newest artificial intelligence model and intertwining it with Bing's search data, so you can chat with the search engine and get up-to-date information.
So the entire point of ChatGPT early on was to just sort of show the power of the large model and the conversational intelligence. We now have not only the current information that you usually expect from a search engine, but you can then have a full conversation around that current information and all the other information that came before.
One of the things we really believe is that the most responsible way to put this out in society is very gradually, and to get people, institutions, policymakers, get them familiar with it, thinking about the implications, feeling the technology, getting a sense for what it can do and can't do very early, rather than drop a super powerful AGI in the world all at once.
Well, I want to talk to you about how close that is. So, another thing a few years ago you said, and this was funny, I thought, we were talking about revenue. This is before you announced your partnership with Microsoft, and you said, and I quote, "Basically, we made a soft promise to investors that once we built this generally intelligent system, we will ask it to figure out a way to generate an investment return." We all kind of laughed at this, and you said, "It sounds like an episode of Silicon Valley. I know, but it is actually what I believe." So
someone sent me that video a few weeks ago. In some sense, that's what's happening. Like, we built a thing, deeply imperfect as it is. We couldn't figure out how to monetize it. You could talk to it. We put it out into the world via an API, and other people, by playing around with it, figured out all these things to do. So it was not quite the ask thing and it tells you how to monetize, but hasn't gone totally the other direction either.
Okay. But we're not quite there yet. You obviously have figured out a way to make some revenue. You're licensing your models.
Not much. We're very early.
Right. But so right now licensing to startups. So you are early on, and people are sort of looking at the whole of what's happening out there, and they're saying, you've got Google, which could potentially release things this year. You have a lot of AI upstarts nipping at your heels. Are you worried about what you're building being commoditized and I guess driving the value zero?
To some degree, I hope it is. The future I would like to see is where access to AI is super democratized, where there are several AGIs in the world that can kind of help allow for multiple viewpoints, and not have any one get too powerful, and that the cost of intelligence and energy, because it gets commoditized, trends down and down and down, and the massive surplus there, access to the systems, eventually governance of the systems, benefits all of us. So yeah, I sort of hope that happens. I think competition is good, at least until we get to AGI. I deeply believe in capitalism and competition to offer the best service at the lowest price.
So of course, the NPO's products being used by Microsoft, being the private company, would have been a problem for Elon Musk, because I believe the original intention of OpenAI was so that it remains an NPO and none of it should be put towards making money. I must say though, I understand where Sam Altman and maybe the other investors are coming from. Setting up OpenAI must have been a very expensive exercise, and the servers and all the resources that are needed and the people that work on OpenAI had to be paid in some way. And Sam Altman himself said they didn't know, or they didn't even have a plan on how to monetize any AI that would come from them. It was going to be very difficult for OpenAI to continue creating new tools or improving on the models they had without the ability to make money. Look, we are thoroughly spoiled by the internet. Everything seems to be free, and we expect things to be free. Social media is largely free because you are the product. So you have to stay on the platform so that they can make money to pay for the development of this portal. I believe that the internal disagreements within OpenAI at the time that Microsoft approached OpenAI emanated from monetizing or how to monetize the platform. And you know what? A couple of $1 billion and maybe a couple of servers from Microsoft were a big enough carrot to dangle in front of, some of the investors. And that agreement then ended up in Elon leaving OpenAI. Now, since the union of OpenAI and Microsoft, Elon Musk has not really been quiet about his concerns about where the AI is going. I mean, AI in the hands of private companies. What could go wrong?
The government needs you. T-1000 has returned.
Right? Right?
In this way, and as urban poet Kendrick Lamar says, we're going to be right. We're going to be all right.
And it would seem like because of these concerns that he has, he's officially started recruiting for his own AI company. I think it's going to be called BasedAI. Don't ask me who told me. Little secret. Me and Elon.
So we're clear up front.
You got to do a little better than that, James. Please put your hand down.
Now, the fight that's ensuing now between Elon Musk, OpenAI, Google, Baidu, and many other players that we don't know about yet reminded me of an African proverb that went something like, when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. And well, folks, in this story, we are the grass. And I feel that we need to decide on which side of the fence we are. Are you going along with the ride, or are you the one caught off guard by the advancements that are coming?
On a more sort of near-term time frame, I think artificial intelligence is something we need to be quite concerned about and really be attentive to the safety of AI. You mentioned ChatGPT earlier. I played a significant role in the creation of OpenAI. Essentially, at the time, I was concerned that Google was not paying enough attention to AI safety. And so I, with a number of other people, created OpenAI. And although initially it was created as an open source nonprofit, and now it is closed source and for profit. I don't have any stake in OpenAI anymore, nor am I on the board, nor do I control it in any way. But the ChatGPT, I think, has illustrated to people just how advanced AI has become. Because the AI has been advanced for a while, it just didn't have a user interface that was accessible to most people. So what really ChatGPT has done is just put an accessible user interface on AI technology that has been present for a few years. And there are much more advanced versions of that are coming out. So I think we need to really be, I think we need to regulate AI safety, frankly, because if you think of any technology which is potentially a risk to to people, like if it's aircraft or cars or medicine, we have regulatory bodies that oversee the public safety of cars and planes and medicine. And I think we should have a similar sort of regulatory oversight for artificial intelligence, because it is, I think, actually a bigger risk to society than cars or planes or medicine. Now, the challenge here is that government regulatory authorities tend to be set up in reaction to something bad that happened. My concern is that with AI, if there's something bad, if something goes wrong, the reaction might be too slow from a regulatory standpoint. So I'd say, like, if I'd say, like, what are the biggest risks to the future of civilization? It's AI, but AI is a double. It's both positive and negative. It has great promise, great capability, but it also, with that comes great danger. I mean, you look at, say, nuclear, just discovery of sort of nuclear physics. You had nuclear power generation, but also nuclear bombs. So anyway, I think we should be quite concerned about it, and we should have some regulation of what is, if fundamentally, a risk to the public.
Let's just hope that our AI overlord likes us. What I'm asking is really, are you safe? Do you feel safe? And do you think that Elon Musk's AI is going to be any better than what's already in the market? What kind of exciting things do you think he's going to release in his artificial intelligence? Let me know. With concerns around ownership of work, ownership of art, ownership of writings coming into the fore with the growing popularity in AI, you'll have to ask yourself, what kind of future are we going into? Are we going into a future where we are just passengers as the AI decides to do what it wants to do? Or are we co-drivers? I hope we co-drivers, to be honest. And lastly, thank you. Thank you for watching this channel. Thank you for supporting. And if you haven't done this yet, please subscribe. I'll be releasing more videos like this because this is really just the beginning of this kind of stuff. Until next time, guys, I'm Tabang. This is Information. Ayoba.